held in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave, on the Township website, and posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall. We request anyone wishing to address council, please wait for the mayor to recognize you. Please state your name and address for the record. And please remember, all comments must be kept to 3 minutes or less.
Thank you. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad?
Here.
Councilmember Coons?
Here.
Councilmember Roy?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Perry?
Here.
Mayor Sippel?
Here. Okay, tonight in the work session, our first order of business is the swearing-in of Officer White and Officer Ginville. I'd like to ask Chief Lewis, please come up to the podium with the officer, and I guess his mother and uncle will be holding the Bible and pinning them. And council, please come down with me.
Just up there on that side. Assume the position.
They look so nice in your white shirts.
Can't do it without you, Robert. This way? Good? Mayor, you want to do the bio first? Is it off? Patrolman White, who's a 20-year-old male, is a lifetime resident of Lower Township and a 2021 graduate from Lower Cape May Regional High School. Patrolman White was an active member of the Lower Cape May Regional football team, weightlifting team. Patrolman White completed Class II Special Law Enforcement Officer training during his senior year in high school. He worked for the Wildwood Police Department as a Class I officer for the summer of 2021. In April of 2022, he began working for the Lower Township Police Department as a Class II officer after completing the Class II Special Law Enforcement Officer training at the Cape May County Police Academy. Patrolman White continued to work as a Class II officer, which is a position he excelled in until being hired as a full-time officer in January 2023. In the academy, Patrolman White finished in one of the top physical training performers in the class before graduating from the basic course of police officers training at the Cape May County Police Academy in June of 2023. Patrolman White takes great pride in being held to the highest standard and is looking forward to the new chapter of his life, as well as serving the community that has turned him into the young man he is today. Patrolman White's mother, Colleen White, will be pinning his badge. His uncle, Michael Cronin, will be holding the Bible.
Established in the United States and in this state, and authority of the people, faithfully, impartially, and justly perform all the duties of position of police officer for the Lower Township Police Department according to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations, man.
It's this way of saying good job, Mom. Stephen Ginville?
All right, Chief, I will reach you this time.
Patrolman Ginville is a 20-year-old and is a lifetime resident of Lower Township, where he grew up playing street hockey, ice hockey, and lacrosse. Patrolman Ginville went to Lower Cape May Regional High School, where he graduated in 2020. He enjoys fishing, playing sports, and spending time with his friends during his off time. Prior to being hired as a full-time in January 2023, Patrolman Ginville volunteered at the Nature Center in Cape May, where he was involved as a teen leader in the 4-H program for approximately 5 years. His first job was at Congress Hall as a busser for banquets. He was also a beach boy for Steger's Beach Service from 2018 to 2020. Lastly, he was a Class 2 in Lower Township from 2021 to 2023. Patrolman Ginville wishes to help the community in return for everything it has done for him. He is very motivated and dedicated to learning new things and being the best officer he can be. Patrolman Ginville's mother, Teresa Ginville, will be pinning his badge. His father, Stephen Ginville, will be holding the Bible.
I state your name. I, Stephen Ginville. Swear to support. Swear to support. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of the State of New Jersey. And I bear true faith. And bear true faith. And allegiance to the same. And allegiance to the same. And the governments established. And the governments established. In the United States. In the United States. And in this state. And in this state. And the authority of the people. And the authority of the people. And I faithfully. Impartially. Impartially. And justly perform. And justly perform. All the duties of. All the duties of. Additional police officer. Additional police officer. For the Lower Township Police Department. For the Lower Township Police Department. According to the best of my ability. According to the best of my ability. So help me God. So help me God. Congratulations.
All right.
I want to thank the chief, all the officers, command staff, and the new officers who have it tonight. They do a great job, they work hard, and we have the best police department in the county. So I want to thank those guys. Just give them a hand on the way out. Okay, we'll move down to the work session again. Tonight's a public hearing, on renewal of liquor license 0505-31-024.001, Sunset Beach Sportsman Club, 6 Sunset Boulevard, Lower Township. The township received a letter from the state of New Jersey, which objecting to the license renewal process, and basically requires us by New Jersey statute to have a public hearing. That's why we're here tonight. So I will kind of just put this letter into the record we received from the state of New Jersey. from the DEP, the Fish and Wildlife Division, dated April 17, 2023. Objection to renewal of Sunset Beach Sportsmanship Club liquor license. And I believe also the attorney representing, Mr. Gillian Schwartz, you've contacted the clerk's office more than once, so you've had communication back and forth on this? Okay. For the record.
Is anyone here from the objector?
I'm getting ready to hit that right now. Anybody from the state here like to address council? As the solicitor labeled it, the objector of the license. So I see no one from New Jersey here, from the state of New Jersey. Okay, we'll move down. Anybody from the sportsman club want to address council?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council, Township Administration. My name is Chris Gillen Schwartz. I am the attorney for the Sunset Beach Sportsman's Club. Before you tonight is an application for renewal, which, as Council is aware, usually a routine matter. And in my experience, and probably your experience as well, when somebody objects, they usually show up to say what it is that they object to about this. And it leaves a lasting question mark for the club. I think the residents of Lower Township, probably the administration too, as to why municipal resources are being dedicated now. I think this is the third year in a row. But I think the licensure issue from a legal standpoint is a very straightforward one. The club remains in possession of the premises, meets the qualifications for issuance of a club license, as it has since, I think, the 1970s. I saw renewal dated 1979 today, and I think it goes back probably further than that, but that's been an annual process. There's been no issues about it. And interesting, the club's letter, or the state's letter doesn't seem to attach any prior violations, police reports, huge problems with the club. I think that's because there are none. A lot of people did not know where this club was until they made an issue of it, they meaning the state. And, for the club's part, we're now in the process of defending the right to stay there, which we think is a real one. And I just want to take a moment to explain from my perspective coming at this. That club, I went there probably when I was in 5th grade for the first time in the 90s. And went there with a friend and their family, and I thought it was a pretty neat place, but that's my childhood. I wasn't there in the 70s, but this place has been there since 1957. And just to show you, from my perspective, how far this has gotten off course, there is a lease from 1982 entered into with the prior owner, and then the state purchased this land in 1999, and instead of saying everybody out on the date of closing, they specifically carved out the club, and it says that it's taken subject to the Sunset Beach Sportsman's Club. And that process is a lengthy process. They had to go through funding, review through the state, review through the federal government, which now they're citing as a reason to get this club out. But it wasn't an accident that that provision ended up in the agreement. And to my surprise, actually, we're in the process of discovery, exchanging documents. And I got production on Friday. And a document produced to me from the state, which I'll mark as A1, just for the record, and I'll give a copy to the solicitor. And I think this just illustrates how far off course we've gotten on this, from the government executing what it thinks is good policy, and the disconnect between local concerns, local residents, what's good for the community. And this is a letter dated July 7th, 1999. Note that the property, the deed for closing, is dated September 99. So this is before closing. It says, "Dear Lou, for nearly 50 years, the Sunset Beach Sportsman's Club has had its clubhouse on Harbison Walker's property in Lower Township. It appears that the most recent lease between the club and Harbison Walker was entered into in 1982. The state of New Jersey would like to extend the tenancy of the club on this property by leasing a small amount of land. The most expeditious way for the state to enter into a lease would be to purchase the property subject to an existing lease. For this reason, we are asking that Harbison Walker enter into a lease with the Sunset Beach Sportsman's Club prior to the conveyance of these lands to the state of New Jersey. For this purpose, I have drafted and am forwarding herewith a copy of a lease that we feel meets the needs and interests of both the Sportsman's Club and the state of New Jersey. I would appreciate any comments you may have on this proposed document on our proposed method of extending the lease." That's signed John Flynn, State Land Acquisition, on State of New Jersey letterhead before closing. So, and that has a bait stamp that was produced by the state to the club. So my question is to them, and it still remains unanswered, is how do we get so far, of course, because there's not, from my perspective, no legal impediment to this continuing and the club remaining where it is, because there wasn't one in '99. And this is, I think, simply a matter of policy that they've changed. And as we know, policy can change back, and I think it should in this case, because as the Township Council is aware, and I've personally experienced in my practice as a municipal solicitor, governments make leases with nonprofit organizations all the time. I've done countless numbers of those types of leases in my career, and usually it's a pretty unanimous decision. You get a positive reaction, like this room right now, of people that are in support of it. And I know that's not what council's doing tonight, but just to point out that where there's a will, there's a way, and I think this isn't a lack of possibility or it's against the law or anything like that. I think it's just a lack of will. And I remain optimistic that at some point, the people that are making these types of decisions will realize that this is not productive or what I think local residents want to see. I think they're tired of things getting steamrolled, and this is this is a relic from, a time, that could be soon forgotten if not preserved, and it's a piece of history. So why not preserve that? It's not hurting anything down there. They're doing beach cleanups. They're promoting nonprofits and other charities and things like that. So it's a net positive for the area, and I'm optimistic that either the state will realize that, or one day when this gets decided by the court, that a judge or a jury will see it that way. So thank you for your consideration tonight.
All right, thank you now. Anyone else? Anybody else?
I'd like to say something.
Yeah, just microphone, please.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Eddie Clavin. I'm the president of Sunset Beach Sportsman's Club. We've been here over and over, 3 years, like Chris said. I don't think we should have to go through this every year. But we do. And I got to say, this is a great township. I live right around the corner, and we understand that you work with us, and that means a lot to us. But like Chris said, we've been there a long time. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that came out here tonight to support us. You can see we got support. We could probably even get a lot more people in here. But I'd like to thank yous for working with us and kind of like having our back and doing the right thing. So I just want to say thank you to yous, and thank you to the members who support us, give up their time, and come out and show their support. That's about it.
Thank you.
Mayor.
Anyone else want to come to the microphone? Okay, we'll close the public portion. I'll defer to Mr. DeFranquist for any comments.
As Mr. Gillenschwartz says, for the last several years, the DEP has objected to the liquor license renewal because they claim that the Sportsman's Club is unlawfully occupying the land. And it sounds like that's in litigation. That issue will be sorted out. I don't think it's really council's job to be a judge in that particular dispute. We're not equipped to do it. They're involved in discovery. That could be a long process, a fact-sensitive process. The question that is before council at this point is whether or not they meet all the criteria for renewal, and they do. The DEP's only objection is that there's this real estate dispute. If the DEP prevails, then I suppose it's a different argument and the license wouldn't be renewed. But if the sportsman clubs prevails, then it would be renewed the same way any other license would be renewed. So in my legal opinion, there's no impediment to renewing this license, at least until a judge tells us otherwise.
All right, thank you. You know, I've heard zero complaints, zero incidents from the club itself, okay? And I think our records reflect that they've had a license for the last 44 years, no issues, okay? And I think the Sportsman Club's been one of our better, if not best tenants in Lower Township. They give back to the community at the toy run. I've been out there physically myself, and I observed those toy runs, and it's a great day to give back. And I want to thank you for what you do each and every day at the club, and to have this many people come out and support. We need this more often. We need more people to come out and stand up for what they believe is right, okay? And I do support the club, and I will be supporting with a yes vote to renew the license. Anybody else on council want to comment?
Some of you know I have a youth organization. Had nothing to do with the Sportsman's Club, but if you remember a few years ago, there was someone who was trying to put a monarch garden out. My kids came out there, and the Sportsman Club, even though they didn't really have anything to do with it, provided hot dogs and soda for the kids. They were right there. They're there for the community. There is no complaints. I've heard all but good. I'm with the mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Conrad. Anybody else? Okay, is there a motion to move forward to approve the license?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay. Can you read the resolution to the record?
This will be resolution number 2023-243. It's a resolution authorizing the renewal of liquor license 050531 024001. We have a motion and a second. Councilman Conrad?
Yes.
Councilman Coombs?
Yes.
Councilman Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Sipple?
Yes. Thank you for coming out. We'll take a 2-minute recess if you just want to exit the building.
You are
Thank
welcome.
you, unless you want to hang out and listen to the rest of the meeting.
Take care.
See you, Ed. Okay, we'll move down to consent agenda. We have council comments on consent agenda.
I make a motion that we table Resolution 2023-236.
Okay, I'll second the motion.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Coombs?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Sippel?
Yes. Any comments from council on the consent agenda?
No.
Anybody from the public want to comment on the consent agenda?
Hello, guys. Bill Greenfield, New Jersey Avenue. This is in reference to ordinance 2023-15, the one at the bottom there, the parking. That's the last item at the bottom there. I'd like to make a request to add New Jersey Avenue between Millman and the Bay, in addition to Village Drive and Bates Avenue. I'm making this request because back in the 80s, New Jersey Avenue in this portion was actually vacated. So it's only really 15 feet wide there instead of 30 feet wide. And if a car pulls in, they don't have room to make a K-turn and turn around. They pull in, they have to back out on the Millman Lane. Also on surveys I've seen, this portion of the road is listed as a pedestrian walkway, although I don't know if it's officially considered one by the township or not. May already be a no parking area. I'm not by ordinance. I'm not sure, but I just figured this would be a good time to bring it up while you're
Okay, well,
looking at with some other areas. But if it isn't, doesn't look bad now because they tore Smitty's down, so it looks real wide there. It's, once the houses and all are built, it's going to look like Delaware Parkway and Pacific Avenue. I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's just barely wide enough to get a car down there, because those roads were also vacated back in the 80s. The manager's a little familiar with this. He's been helping me out with stuff like with the beach pet tag and beach path access and all that. So Mike's familiar with it somewhat, and he's been a big help. So if you can't amend the ordinance tonight, then I'd ask if you could table it and look into this and maybe reintroduce it at New Jersey and reintroduce it at the next meeting. That's just pretty much it.
okay, we can't amend it tonight, okay? We can move forward the ordinance, but we can look into it still and go
Right.
back in a minute if we have
If it
to.
actually is no parking already.
Just so you know, the no parking for Village is because it's emergency access for getting to the bay with a boat.
Yeah, I
okay?
just thought it'd be a good time to bring this up.
So,
and seen it.
that's always a good time. That's why you come to the meetings. I appreciate your input.
Okay, thanks,
So,
guys. Yeah,
Mike
it's
will look
something
into
that-
it.
Something me and Mike been talking about. for a
Okay.
while, so.
All right, thank you.
guys.
Anybody else? Okay, close the public portion.
Approval of the minutes, June 5th, 2023. Resolutions 2023-217 through 2023-235, and 2023-237 through 242. And ordinance 2023-15, an ordinance amended and supplementing Chapter 7, Traffic, subsection 3, parking, specifically subsection 7-3.3, parking prohibited at all times on certain streets of the Code of the Township of Lower, to prohibit parking on Village Road and Bates Avenue. This is the first reading of this ordinance. The second reading and public hearing has been scheduled for July 17th.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Move forward.
I make a motion, we move forward.
I'll second the motion.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Coombs?
Yes.
Councilmember Roy?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Perry?
Yes.
Mayor Sippel?
Yes. Engineer report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Tonight I'll be presenting the engineer's report on behalf of de Blasio and Associates and giving an overview of all the capital projects currently underway in the township. Capital project number 1, the Diamond Beach Park improvements, is in the grant phase of the project. The final application has been submitted by Lower Township to the Cape May County Open Space Board. We are tentatively scheduled to present the design to the board at the end of this month. After the grant process with the Cape May County Open Space Board is complete and funding is secured, the project will be ready to go out to bid for a fall construction start date. Capital project number 2, the reconstruction of Fire Lane is complete, and our office is in the closeout phase of the project. Capital project number 3, the replacement of various pavilions. The project commenced May 15th, 2023, and 2 of the pavilions have been completed apart from the metal roof, which will be installed this week. Walters Marine construction has started on the remaining pavilion. The deck is scheduled to be complete by the end of June, and the prefabricated shade structure going on top of the deck is scheduled to be installed by September. The municipal pool renovations. The municipal pool renovations have been completed, and the facility is on target to be open this weekend. The pool piping, concrete pool deck, pool coping, interior pool finish has been successfully replaced, and ADA access has also been added to the front of the building. The pool startup process is being carried out this week, and Public Works is currently renovating the public bathrooms. Capital project number 5, the reconstruction of Wildwood Avenue is currently in the survey phase. Bay Drive was added to the scope of work by the township and is currently being surveyed. Our office also applied for additional NJDOT municipal aid grant money to supplement the existing NJDOT grant for this project. Our office will be entering the design phase for this project once the survey phase is complete. Capital project number 6, the reconstruction of Carriage Lane, Briarwood Drive, Bridle Path, Paddock Lane, Timber Lane, and Trotter Way is well underway, with over half the stormwater infrastructure having been installed and concrete work having commenced. The project is on schedule and is set to be completed by the end of August 2023. Capital project number 7, the Lincoln Boulevard restroom facility has commenced. The rough plumbing and electric stages have been completed, and the piling, concrete grade beam, and slab have been installed. The project completion date has been extended due to material procurement issues and utility conflicts. The project is scheduled to be complete by the end of August 2023. Capital project number 8, the beach access pathway project is currently in the design phase. Our office prepared and presented concept plans to the Township and the Cape May Property Owners Association, which have been approved. We have now entered the final design stage to prepare the project for public bid. Capital project number 9, the Rotary Community Park renovation is currently in the concept, design, and permitting phase. Our office has prepared and submitted a letter of interpretation permit on behalf of the Township to establish the wetlands that affect the site. Our office will be presenting a concept design to the Township this week, and after this is approved by the Township, we will be moving into the final design stage to have stage 1 of the project ready for public bid by the end of July. Capital project number 10, the Bayside Outfall Extension, is currently in the survey phase of the project. Our office is also in the process of scheduling a jurisdictional determination meeting with the NJDEP to confirm the exact permits needed for this project. Once the survey is completed and the permit requirements are determined, we'll be entering the design phase of this project. That wraps up the capital overview for Lower Township. Thank you.
Thank you. On the roofs for the pavilions, it's good news. It'll be done maybe sooner than we thought. Who's doing the lettering, Mike, for the top of the roof, the metal roofs?
We have a local contractor, a sign company that's going to be doing that.
Okay.
They're ordered at this point for the tops of those. There'll be a big sign that says "Welcome to Lower Township," with our logo and Rotary's logo on the other side of that, because they were the initial entity that built those pavilions many moons ago.
Right.
I think also the sign entering off of Lincoln Boulevard, that sign's going to be replaced as well.
Okay.
That says Douglas Park, Rotary, Douglas Park, sponsored by Rotary too. And that's going
Okay.
to get replaced too.
I was down there just the other day, looking at the pavilions. They come out really nice.
Yeah, I
Really
thought so
did.
too.
So they should last a lot longer than everybody up in this dies anyway. So, but anybody have any questions?
No.
All right, thank you now.
Thank you.
Okay, now we move down to public comment. Anybody from the public want to come to the microphone and comment? Yes, ma'am.
Just promise me when I say my name, you won't pass out. My name is Sherry Alasway, and I was told to come here and put on the public record my issue with the township. I understand that most of you, if not all of you, have your positions part-time. However, I have, since March 1st, emailed, contacted, walked in, telephoned with probably most of you right here. To date, I still do not have a formal letter explaining to me why my property was removed or excluded from the GB1C overlay zone located in the North Cape May Shopping Center. I did have a verbal stating from Mike, who spoke to not Mr. Stefankowitz, but apparently his partner, where he believed it was spot zoning. I immediately stated that, of course, it's not spot zoning because Lot 102 is in it, and also spot zoning by definition means if I wanted to be in it and nobody else was in it. I am just trying to be in what the people around me are in. Some issues that have me concerned is there is a property that was approved for a dispensary behind us in the strip mall, which I have no problem with. However, according to your ordinance or your rules, you stated that the setbacks or the distance to the closest residential property from the front door should be 300 feet. I have the map that they proposed and gave during their application, which shows the furthest distance being 280 feet. They don't even get close to 300 feet, but yet they were approved. I don't feel that one person should be allowed to have benefits and not everybody else. My concern is, again, I don't care about the mall. The mall is the mall. However, why was Lot 102, which is a little corner like us, included and not us? I am not asking for special treatment. I'm only asking for what is right. If you were to consider the mall as a whole or the property, it would really make most sense for us to be approved, not so much the mall, because we are not close to residences, schools, or churches. The mall currently has a child care facility. They are now expanding, which is making them closer to the dispensary. Furthermore, these kids get the school bus right at the corner, not on the street, at the corner of the mall. And they are walking past the dispensary at least twice a day. That's all. I just want to put it out on the record that I feel that we were isolated, and I don't understand why no one can give me a reason on why we were not included in that zone.
Okay, Mr. Stefankowitz, you want to advise counsel on this matter?
Unfortunately, it's not really appropriate to comment because this matter is in formal litigation, as I understand it.
Yes, for the contract end of it.
And that puts counsel in a very awkward position because you really can't comment. Anything that we say could potentially turn up in the lawsuit. The only thing that I would mention is when the township was going through the process, it was very public. We had an ordinance, then we had a second reading of the ordinance. This zone wasn't created in a vacuum. It was advertised, it was on the agendas, it was out there for the public. I don't know what the township can do other than what we do to make all the information available to every resident. And we follow that in this particular case.
And I agree with that. However, if I may speak, in January, when you approved it and agreed on it, I was in Egypt. Unfortunately and/or fortunately, I'm married to a gentleman where his family is overseas. The first reading I did not attend because I was told I was in the zone, so I had no reason to come to it.
The only other comment that I would make to counsel, my law firm is not the law firm that's defending the litigation. I believe that's been sent out to the JIF. So to the extent that there needs to be communication, I would suggest that you communicate with counsel.
Even though it's being dismissed? I know, it's like, that's why I'm in a catch-22, and I'm here for guidance, because as of paperwork, it is being dismissed as of the 23rd.
I would suggest that you reach out to counsel who is involved in that litigation,
Okay,
and if something changes in the future, we're here.
gotcha. Okay, so right to the attorney for the, okay, no problem, thank
Right.
you.
Thank you now. Anybody else from the public want to comment? Okay, close the public portion of the meeting. We'll do council comments. Councilman Conrad, anything?
Real quick, school's out. Please be careful with the kids. I know I just stole your thunder. Yeah, I was doing it before you got here. Long before you got here, I was doing this. Mr. South will tell you that. Sometimes they go backwards.
What he said.
Good.
Yeah, I'm good, what he said.
Councilman Roy?
I'd just like to comment that we had tonight, too, approvals for reappointment to the Planning and Zoning Board. These fellows are volunteers, and thank them very much for their service.
Very good point. Thank you. Deputy?
It's like, see another fantastic July 3rd this year with the 4th of July celebration. See everybody out and have a good time.
Okay, good. That was the only thing I had on my list was talk about, but
Sorry.
it's all good. But anyway, we'll start closing the road down around 3 p.m. and the activities start at 5 p.m. and the fireworks slow after 9 o'clock. So with that being said, I have a motion to adjourn.
Go ahead.
Second motion?
Second, sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Say something. Aye.
We're adjourned.